It's Tuesday, May 8th, and I'm your host, Paula Hersey. On today's show, our weekly check-in with the Barnstable Police Department is up first. Then we learn more about Senior Services outreach, and we head out to Old Barnstable Fairgrounds Golf Course to see if summer was really on its way. Let's start with some news you can use. According to CapeCodWeather.net, this morning's visible satellite imagery shows two distinct areas of fog, one hugging the coast of eastern New England and, of course, enveloping Cape Cod, and a second a bit further east just offshore to the region. The good news is the fog bank deck of low clouds is very shallow in nature and the atmosphere above it is dry and certainly conducive to plenty of blue sky and sunshine. As such, the low clouds and fog should start to mix out and disappear as the sun starts to climb this morning and begins to mix the atmosphere. It's all about stickers today, car stickers that is. Barnstable transfer stickers went on sale May 1st and are required by June 30th. Less of a wait if you get them now. The cost is $240 and an additional vehicle is $25. Remember, you will also need a sticker for the free recycling area. You can acquire them through the mail as well as the transfer station. Find out more information and forms on the Town of Barnstable's website, www.townofbarnstable.us. This sticker is our favorite, a beach parking permit, on sale now at the Hyannis Youth and Community Center, 141 Bassett Lane in Hyannis. Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., Sundays and holidays, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Parking permits, beach stickers, applications have been emailed to all those who have provided an email address last year. So check those inboxes. Remember, resident parking permits are required January 1st to December 31st and will take 3 to 4 weeks to process. We'll be live on the phone with Deputy Chief Matthew Sonneman in just a moment. Good morning, Deputy Chief Matthew Sonnabend. How are you today?
Outstanding. How are you today?
Oh, not too bad. I heard you got some nefarious people off the streets, and you had an armed robbery arrest last night.
Yes, we did. Apparently the foggy weather brought out the bad guys. We had last night we got a call at about 7:45 from the victim, stating that he'd been robbed by a couple of people over off of Route 6A last night. The officers got out there, began their investigation, started talking to the victim, and found out actually what had happened was he'd been chatting with someone via social media and trying to arrange to purchase some marijuana. And when the other individuals showed up, they had other ideas, and there was no sale. However, there was a robbery. They showed a handgun. They beat up the victim, took his backpack, which in the backpack had, a watch and some money and some stuff like that, and fled the area. There was a vehicle description that we had, so we put it out, and the state police ended up stopping the two gentlemen up on Route 3 on their way back to Brockton, and arrested were Walter Barbarossa, 29 years of age, and Nathan Ribeiro Neves, 18 years of age, both out of Brockton. They were not local from the Cape, and this kind of reiterates the danger of social media, not knowing who you're going to be talking to and whatnot, and what their plans might be. So keep an eye on, especially parents with kids and stuff like that. Keep an eye on who they're talking to on social media, because you never know who anybody's talking to and what you're actually going to get. And obviously, they were looking to do something illegal anyway, so it wasn't, they weren't really talking to the best of people. But even still, use caution when you're talking to people on social media, because you never know who you're talking to and how it's going to end up. But those two people are off the street. It wasn't random. And when the state police did stop them, they found out that the gun was not a real gun. It was a fake gun. It was a replica. So there was no actual real firearm involved.
Lots of nefarious people out there on the streets right now. So
Yes.
You picked up two more of them this past week.
Yes, they are. Our detectives had been working on a case and arrested two people in Hyannis. And what happened was, a couple of weeks ago, we had arrested a person for fentanyl trafficking by the last name of Perry. It turns out his younger brother also got into the operation, and our officers arrested Robert Perry, 26, and his girlfriend, Taylor DeGrace. They did a search warrant. They checked the house in Hyannis and found the drugs. And while she was being arrested, Miss DeGrace assaulted one of our detectives with a shoe. The detective is okay. We did disarm her and take the dangerous shoe away. We do have it. They also found, while they were doing their search warrant, they did find a couple of firearms in a box outside the residence. But right now they're trying to figure out if those guns are related to them or not. So they are still doing a little bit more investigation. And they did charge Mr. Perry with trafficking 10 grams or more of fentanyl and possession of some other drugs. And Mr. Grace, they charged her with the drug crimes as well, and assaulting the officer.
Well, it's great to get those folks off the streets.
It always is good to thin out the herd, so to speak, yes.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate it, and we'll talk to you next week.
No problem. Have a great day.
You too now.
Bye-bye.
Outreach at the Senior Center provides so many different programs. Here to highlight some of the resources for our residents is Claudia Borden, Outreach and Development Coordinator for Barnstable Senior Center.
Hi, I'm Claudia Borden, Outreach Coordinator for the Town of Barnstable Senior Services. My office is over here at the Barnstable Senior Center. Everything from maybe some financial help, some insurance help. We have a lot of outreach programs that we offer here. Some of the more basic ones is in the fall, we help people with their 41C for their real estate taxes. But we will walk them through that. We'll help them gather all the papers. We help them fill out the application and submit it to the town. And if there's a problem, we'll help them resolve that. We do fuel assistance in the fall too, but we help them with the automatic renewal, or we put new people into it. We do that almost all winter long, and that's a big savings for people. We have a food distribution program. It's called Brown Bag for Seniors. We do 250 bags of groceries the first Friday of every month. I have wonderful, wonderful volunteers. We wouldn't be able to do it without them. In fact, we've got a brown bag coming up. We have companies that help. Capabilities helps us. This is all through a partnership with the Greater Boston Food Bank. That's a lot of food. We deliver it to people's homes if they can't get out of the house. We bring, Capabilities brings it over to the Senior Housing Authority, then they distribute it out there, and then we have people that come and pick it up at the senior center. It's very hard for seniors to go to food pantries, but for them to just come to the senior center and pick up a bag of groceries, that's easy. That's a real easy thing for them to do. We had a huge storm, huge wind and rain, and it was an awful storm. Every single one of my volunteers showed up, but they all came, and almost every single person came to pick up their food too, which just says to me how valuable it is to them to make those ends meet. We have safety programs. I get a lot of calls from children who don't live on the Cape and their parents are here and they're worried about their parents. What can we do? How can we help them? We do a lot of advisory for caregiving, husbands taking care of wives, wives taking care of husbands. We have safety programs. We have the mailbox stickers where if you don't want to be called every day because we have a telephone reassurance program, we call and say good morning. Our volunteers again will call and say, how you doing? Are you okay? Everybody's fine. And that just to make sure you're up and ready for the day. But if you don't want something quite that intrusive, we have a sticker that you put inside your mailbox that says if the mail has accumulated for 3 days, the mailman reads the sticker and he calls us at the senior center, and we have follow-up paperwork on these people. We will either go out and call the police and say, let's do a safety check, let's make sure they're up and about. So it's just one of those in case things, and it's an additional safety net. We work with SHINE, which is serving the health insurance needs for all. I think it's actually Massachusetts elders, but we have 7 SHINE counselors here at the senior center. So there's a good chance you're going to be able to find an appointment if right now we're getting people who are turning 65. And you get that card, and you don't know if you're going to retire, you don't know if you're still going to work, but you know that at 65 you have to do something with Medicare. So that's usually the first time we will see people about health insurance is, what do I do when I turn 65? What do I need, Part A, Part B, Part C, Part D, whatever that is. And so we will help them through that. Then every year we ask people to look at their insurance because Congress changes their mind about what they want. The drug plans always change. Every year there's a new drug plan. So maybe the one you were in last year isn't going to be the one that's going to be good for you this year, either because the companies have changed the drugs they carry, or they've changed their costs, or because you're on new medicines now. All of a sudden something's changed in your life. So every year you really do need to talk to a SHINE counselor, look at the best plan that's going to be for you, and the odds are pretty good it's not going to be the one you were in last year. So that's another reason we see people. Or let's say you're having a problem with the doctor bill. For some reason your insurance isn't paying this. Call us. We can help you walk through that. We can call Medicare, we can call the doctor's office, whatever. We'll figure out what's going on and what to do. We also do a lot of talking to people about maybe some long-term care, getting some extra services in your home through Medicare or Mass Health. They are not being supported by any specific company. They know all of the plans and all the costs, and they can give you a clear choice without being influenced by outside sources. So then you'll find that's very important, because if you go to one particular company, they're just going to sell you their policy. They're not going to look all over to see what other policies that might be better, because in actual fact, Massachusetts has some laws that will govern what people, how much they can charge you. And some of them charge more and some of them charge less. So obviously if you're trying to figure out finances, you want to go with the one that's the same services but less cost. So that's one of the advantages of SHINE counselors. Also, SHINE does meetings. We go to trainings every month, a new training every single month, so that if there's anything that's changed, if there's anything that needs to be learned, we learn that through that. I've been going through, I'm a SHINE counselor too, and I've been doing it for a number of years, and every month it's something new. So, and it's great because it's always fresh. And that's very valuable information that the average senior is not going to be able to keep up on because it changes so much. I don't think seniors are aware of how expensive insurances are, so you should always get the best counsel you can so you find the plan that'll fit your budget. It's for everything. We get constant questions about what to do, how to do it, where to go. So basically what we try and do is offer all sorts of services, or if we don't know, we'll find out where to go to get the information. I love talking to people. I like sitting there and talking to them, listening to their lives. Amazing, amazing people. You know, we don't stop and talk to each other enough, I think, and ask a senior, what did you do when you worked, or when your children were young? How did you get through the war? How did you, any war, pick one. Now we're seeing a lot of Vietnam vets, but still, they have so much knowledge, they have so much experience that I love the stories. I love the stories.
The golf season has finally kicked off in spectacular fashion. Bruce McIntyre met us at the old Barnstable Fairgrounds golf course this past week to talk about the tough spring full of storms, the cleanup, and the current conditions of our 2 resident courses. Our first 70-degree day of weather. We're out here at the old Barnstable golf course with Bruce McIntyre, Director of Golf Operations. Finally, Bruce.
Finally, it's been a long time.
It's been a long winter. Let's give the residents kind of a synopsis of what happened over the winter and spring this year, huh?
Yeah, outside of a 2-week stretch in February where everybody thought winter was over and it was beautiful and the golfers were out, beyond that, it's been a very dismal, cold, miserable period. It seems like winter's gone on now for 4 months.
Yeah, you had quite a few storms that came through, some significant storms with an enormous amount of rain as well as trees and wood down.
Yeah.
Tell us how the 2 courses kind of fared through that.
They took a lot of lumps and bumps. We had over 52 trees come down at the 2 courses. And these aren't little trees. These are huge white pine trees and huge pine trees, just blown over with the stumps hanging out of the ground. You can't even imagine the amount of brush, branches, and other debris. The guys went out every time we had a storm, and they did the course cleanup and felt good that, okay, we're now ready. Let's switch gears and get ready for spring cleanup, only to be hit again. And in March we had 4 nor'easters. In the course of April, in March and April, the 2 golf courses were closed due to unplayable weather for 19 days. We had in April, we had 14 days closed, 4 days of snow, and in April we do our aeration and top dressing of the greens, and each course was closed for 3 days additionally for course maintenance. So essentially in the first 2 season months, we had almost 50% closure at both golf courses. And the days that we were open, the weather was cold, it was breezy, it was cloudy, and a lot of long faces around here come, up until just recently.
Right.
But maintenance crew and the operations staff worked together, and they put in a lot of long hours. We do all our work in-house, all our own cutting and chipping and stump grinding and everything. Suffice it to say, we're still cleaning up out of the way areas, but at the same time now the grass is growing and things are finally starting to green up. So we're hoping this nightmare is behind us for the time being. Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about the condition of the course itself.
Yep.
All that rain, has it firmed up a little bit for you?
It just starting. I mean, perfect example, last week we had over 4 inches of rain. We had one over 3-inch rain event, and right after aerification of greens, which makes things extra soft, followed by another inch of rain that we didn't expect Friday. In the long run, the rain is great for the groundwater on the Cape and the ponds and everything, and it does make things grow. On the short term, the courses were unplayable and again closed last week during prime time, which we can't do much about. Otherwise, we'd cause significant damage, and we can't do that either. But going into, as we speak right now, things are drying out, things are firming up. The greens have healed in beautifully from the aeration. With a little Mother Nature on our side, we're starting to see some things grow. But I would say at this point in time, we're, growth-wise and looking at trees and shrubs and all the other things we look at this time of year for indicators, we're 3 weeks behind still. Forsythia is barely blooming, and we're in May. We should be on that now. So we have no control over that.
The only thing I can count is that at least those greens are going to be a little slower to play.
For a while. For a while.
So, season's really just begun, but you have already started First Tee. Tell us a little bit about that.
Absolutely. For those who don't know, Hyannis Golf Course is one of 5 sanctioned chapters of the First Tee program, which is geared specifically towards teaching young children not only how to play the game of golf, but it also incorporates life values and life lessons. On a weekly basis, they'd be discussing, maybe chipping for half of the class and honesty for the second half of the class. And this goes hand in hand. But the spring after-school program is in full swing now. 5 days a week at Hyannis Golf Course, and then from 4 to 6 p.m. Full classes, great participation. The summer program has just been approved, and for anybody that's interested to get into the summer program, you can go to www.massgolf.com and look for the First Tee program. Registrations are done online. The summer program won't kick off until the kids get out of school in June, but it's an 8 or 9 week program depending on when you start and when the season is over, for $55.
Right.
And those that have a financial hardship can come, and everybody is included.
And this is for girls and boys.
This is girls, this is boys, this is starting from age 5 up to 17 or 18. There are different degrees that you would go through in terms of the age of the golfers and what they would be involved in, but terrific program. We're happy to say that the Hyannis Golf Course program is the biggest chapter in the state of Massachusetts for First Tee. Last year we served over 500 children. So we did the spring after school, the summer program, and then a fall after school program, which is also a big hit. So it's doing very well.
So what do you want people to know?
Well, I tell you what, I'd love to say spring is here, the grass is greening up, things are looking beautiful. We've got some new rates and fees coming in this year. Our junior golf, which is school-age children up to 17, we dropped the price to $130 to be able to play both golf courses. So if you're looking for something for your kids to do in the summer, as far as junior golf is concerned, they do need some, they need to know their way around a golf course, and there's ways that we can teach them that. But it's a fantastic price, and that's both courses. For the non-pass holders, residents of the town of Barnstable need to remember that we're the only municipal courses on the Cape that offer a resident discount. So if you're not a pass holder or a member here, you can still, as a resident, come and make a tee time and get a discount. So now's the time. Things are onward. Everything's greening up. This is the beginning of the season. It can, as far as we're concerned, it's begun, and as you can see behind you, there's a lot of activity here on this beautiful day. So I guess one thing not to forget is put a plug in for both of the restaurants. You do not have to be a golfer to come over to these properties and enjoy a beautiful sunset over here on the deck overlooking the skydivers and the biplanes coming in. And over at Hyannis, we do parties, we do weddings, we do huge golf outings. You don't have to be a golfer to come and enjoy the properties. They both offer beautiful sunset views, and it's just a nice place to hang out away from the crowds and the bustle of maybe Hyannis and some of the places you might have to wait in line. Good stuff.
Excellent. Thanks, Bruce.
You're very welcome.
Here's a look at our community calendar today. Do you like true crime mysteries? Sturgis Library has you covered with a Greg Williams true crime presentation tonight. Decades before Borden, the Fall River scandal of the bad mill girl and the minister. Decades before the Borden case, Fall River mill worker Sarah Cornell was found dead. Suicide or murder? Her death obsessed the town and pit its mill owners against the Methodist hierarchy, which backed the suspect, its minister. Public outrage, victim blaming, and even forensic knot tying. Did the Reverend get away with murder? Greg Williams will give an interactive presentation dealing with the history, myths, and stories surrounding the first major murder case in Fall River. This is tonight, Tuesday, May 8th, 6:30 p.m., free to the public. Registration is appreciated. Call 508-362-6636 or email sturgislibrary@comcast.net. Here's a look at this week's meeting schedules for commissions, committees, and boards. We hope you'll join us again Wednesday. We talked to Wendy Norcross, CEO of the Cape Cod Chamber, for a look ahead at the upcoming season. We have a TikTok with Barnstable County entomologist Larry Dapsis and a special exhibit of art with Cape Cod students in the Artworks program. Our visit to the golf course inspired this quote: "No other game combines the wonder of nature with the discipline of sport in such a carefully planned ways. A great golf course both frees and challenges a golfer's mind." Tom Watson. I'm Paula Hersey, and thank you for watching Barnstable Today.